Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start. You can continue to pass these down. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. So first of all, I am so excited to be back in Highland Lakes and in sunny Florida. I travel back and forth, and I have tremendous hakarat hatov to Hashem whenever He allows me to spend time in Florida with my children and grandchildren, and with this beautiful neighborhood and community of women. So I just want to thank Hashem for that. But even more exciting was that when Perla called me and asked me if I could speak about Rosh Chodesh Kislev, I was also feeling the same way, Perla, that my whole life is a miracle put together, and it's really one of my favorite months to talk about. And I was thinking about it. Why is it my favorite month? Well, growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, in the darkness of December, Hanukkah was just like a breath of fresh air that would come during a time where there were no leaves on trees anymore, where there was snowy and slushy, and it was this light amongst darkness. And then I thought, when I moved to Florida, how am I ever going to get used to where it's not really so dark and it's so beautiful and it's so sunny? How am I going to understand the miracles of Kislev? Well, let me tell you, it's a beautiful month no matter where you live. And I want to talk all about what the month represents, and then some takeaways that we could try to work on, since it's really Rosh Chodesh Thursday night, right? So we have some time to contemplate and think what we're going to be doing for this month. So the word Kislev comes from the word kesel, which really means security and trust, which is very interesting. The actual definition of the word of the month actually means what we're supposed to be trying to do. There's two different types of trust. There's the active trust and there's the passive trust. So let me give you an example. One of the most beautiful things that happens in Kislev is the rainbow. Hashem promises the world that after a terrible destruction, He is no longer going to destroy the entire world again. And the symbol of that trust with the people, right, and Hashem, is this concept of a rainbow. So that's the beginning. That's like how we start this. Then if you are part of the Chabad movement, right, you know that there's a huge miracle that takes place during this month in Yotes Kislev, with the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe being let out of jail. And then, of course, we have Hanukkah, which is at the end of the month. And there's many other personal miracles throughout. In fact, in my book that I wrote, I talk a lot about different miracles in my business that always happen during the of Kislev. So let's stand back a little bit and understand what this month is. It's also the 9th month since Nisan. So we were just talking about this woman who had a baby in her car, your grandchild, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the 9th month is that month right before that last push, and you know the baby's coming, you feel the baby's coming, maybe you're even having some contractions, and it's like almost like, I just got to get through this. I got to make it through so I can experience the miracle. And that's what really Kislev is all about. It's connecting with Hashem, with the light amongst darkness. That 9th month, we're getting closer, and we could experience the ultimate miracle of Mashiach. We just got to get ready to sort of like push it through. Think about the months that we've been celebrating. So we started right with Elul, and Elul, Ani L'Dodi V'Dodi Li. We're getting close to Hashem. We're beginning the process of Tshuva. Then we have Tishrei, where we're at the holiest time of the year, Yom Kippur. And I have to tell you, I have to report back. I was in Israel this year when the hostages came out on Hoshana Rabbah. It was mind-blowing. You almost had this like feeling like, maybe like this is it. Like this is Mashiach. Like it was such a powerful day. The fact that it happened right before Simchat Torah and that it was on Hoshana Rabbah, it was like, it was unbelievable. And I was in Yerushalayim, and I was looking over from Michal's apartment. We could see the Knesset, like we could hear Trump's voice on the TV, and it was just like, it was a very, very powerful moment. And we could see videos of, they're coming out, they're getting out of Gaza, they're coming to the army base. It's like very, very powerful. And then you come back to real life, which is Mar Cheshvan, and I think about it so much so I had to really think about this on the flight coming back from El Al. Imagine the people that used to go Ola Regel, right? They used to go and prepare for months, and they had this massive party at the Beit HaMikdash. And then they had to go home, right? The whole thing of Shmini Atzeres says we want one more day, right? But then they had to go home. They had to go back to their regular lives. They had to go back to their vineyards. They had to go back to planting. And that's sort of what we had to do in Cheshvan. We had to go back to our bills, our credit card bills from Yontif. It was like, woo, like the whole month you felt like, oh my goodness, And then you finish that month and there's no holidays during that season. And you're trying to have a closeness with Hashem. It's a little hard because, you're constantly counting the pennies. And then you come into the month. And Kislev is about that rainbow. It's about that trust. It's about that love that Hashem is saying, no. You have to believe in me even in the darkest moment. Yes, you're working. Yes, you're doing things. But you still have to. The actual symbol of this month is a bow and arrow, which is an interesting thing. It connects to Binyamin, the tribe of Binyamin, because Binyamin also was considered like a bow. Binyamin is the only son of Yaakov to actually be born in Israel. And it represents the Jewish people's fight for our nation and the wars that we necessarily have to go through. But also, Binyamin is called a wolf because a wolf, when he eats, has tremendous passion. He has hunger. And one of the things that we have to think about for Kislev is that we have to have that hunger and passion to get to that point of trust in God. And I heard this story, and I was actually surprised when I heard this story, because it was a guy who went to the Chafetz Chaim, and he said to the Chafetz Chaim, I just want to sort of give up. Like, I'll just sit and I'll just say Tehillim all day or all down, but I really don't want to run the business. I don't want to do all the different things. I'm dealing with all these problems. I just want to do it. And the Chafetz Chaim answered him this, which is very fascinating. He said, Achto v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai. What is the Tehillim saying? All of our life we have to run, we have to chase. The word yirdefuni is a weird word. They could have just said, okay, so our whole life we're going after, trying to get chesed and trying to do this. Why does it say yirdefuni is like a chase? Because what the Chafetz Chaim was explaining to this man was, no. You have to chase it. Even amongst the darkness, you can't quit life. You can't say, okay, I have these problems, or, I'll just go be a monk in a monastery. No, just opposite. Through that toil, through that work, through the daily grind, that's where these miracles come. That's where you see the light in the darkness. Now, last night I went to hear Mrs. Shem Tov, who was a mother of a hostage. I'm still trying to process this experience because it's so painful. But she spoke about this light, this constant light. She showed videos of herself on Hostage Square, making lights, and everybody should make lights and show lights. And you're watching this the whole day today. I was thinking about this. I was listening to different shiurim, and I'm like, goodness, what a level that is. Whoa, it's so not anything I can think about. I'm trying to find light in pay my credit card bill, not thinking about light when my son, God forbid, a son should be captured like that. It blew my mind, but it showed the strength of the Jewish woman and the strength of the Jewish people. And that's what Kislev represents. It represents that trust in the rainbow, that Hashem will make sure that our partnership with Him is so strong that no matter what, He's always going to be here for us. And if you look at this week's Parsha, you have a very interesting experience happening. Yitzchak's building wells. They're getting angry with him. They're shutting down his wells. And the question that Chazal asked is what's going on here? He's building wells. They're shutting down wells. Well, what happened was, when Avram was spreading the light of Hashem, they were okay, that's Avram. But they really thought it was going to be shut down with Avram. Then his son's coming back, and he's building wells, and he's representing the light, and he's representing the ways of Hashem. No. We can't do that. We have to sort of shut that down. Actually, the first real anti-Semitism takes place in this week's Parsha. But the concept is that no matter what, there will always trying to stop us, and I think that's what I gained last night from hearing this woman, that they will always try to stop us, but no, we have to know that there is that trust, that bond, that Hashem will always never let us go, the nitzchias of the Jewish people, represented by the rainbow that takes place in this month. Now, so how do we bring miracles, hope, and trust? How do we bring it down? Because it's there. Hashem wants to give it to us. But how do we bring this down? So they told over, I thought it was a cute story for those of you that are grandparents. So there were two women, sitting in Florida. They're having a conversation. How often do your grandchildren call you? So one grandmother says to the other, my grandchildren call me all the time. The other grandmother says, what? My grandchildren never call me. So she says, well, what are you doing different? I want to know. I want to learn from you. So the one lady said, I write them out a check. So the other lady said, I also write them out a check. So she goes, no, but you don't understand. I don't sign the check. I mail it to them. I don't sign the check. Then they have to call me. Right? She goes, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. But the reality is that is a mashal for us where Hashem has the shefa. He has the bracha. He wants to share it. And all he wants us to do is on this world, try to get that shefa, try to get that bracha. So what are some practical ways? I love this time of year because people come from the north, right? And they send me pictures of them sitting by the beach. And it's adorable because it's yeah, I know. I also go walking by the beach. And I know how gorgeous it is. But a guy called me today, and he said to me something very fascinating. He said, oh, this is perfect for my class tonight. He said that when he sat by the beach, he couldn't get over the infinity of it. It just kept going. He was so blown away that it was just kept going. Sometimes we in Florida, we forget that. And I said, okay, so practical thing number one, we go and we take a walk by the beach. We remember that there is this Hashem and that the ocean, really looking at the ocean, is a sample of the infinity of Hashem. And just like Hashem, the ocean can keep going, Hashem, the bracha can just always be there. So that's number one. Number two, in the word Bereshit, I heard this from Gedalia Fenster, bara shis. Hashem, right away when he created the world with problems. Why? Because in order for us to be able to come close, we have to know that there's always going to be problems. Our job is not to ask about why the problems are. Our job is to see that through that, that Hashem is going to take care of us. The third thing is, faith is a noun, but emunah is a journey. And our job is to rise above to see the blessings. But it's a journey. It's not a one-time experience. I thought that was so good. Because faith is used in the English language as a noun, but emunah is really a verb. Every day we work on understanding and knowing that Hashem really wants the best for us, and we're constantly processing it. It's not a one-time experience. The fourth thing that I heard, that the word simcha and machshava have a lot of the same letters in it, okay? We have to have the maturity and the humility to understand that we are engaging in our thoughts in order to bring simcha. Our thoughts are only there for us to know that really we have to have total happiness. And the example that they gave about the maturity part is, and I love this in Mashal, is a woman walks in, and she goes to the 5-year-old birthday party, and she gives out lollipops to all the children. To her grandchild, she says, I'm not giving you a lollipop, I'm giving you an envelope. So they open up the envelope, and in the envelope is free college tuition. The kid throws a fit. I don't want this piece of paper. I want a lollipop, right? It sounds so simple, right? Meanwhile, the grandmother thinks she did the biggest thing in the world. She gave this kid an education. Let's forget about college right now, because that's just a disaster. Let's just say she paid for his Jewish education from 2 to 12th grade, right? Imagine, right? You think, wow, that's amazing. But to a 5-year-old, all he wants is that lollipop. We also the same way. We want what we want right now, right? But we have to use our machshava to understand that no matter what, Hashem knows what's best for us, and therefore that has to bring us to simcha. Because when we're in simcha, the bracha can come down. And the fifth thing, and the last thing that I want to end with, there's 6 things, but I want to tell about this fifth thing. An acronym is DBT. DBT, by the way, in our therapy world is like dialectical behavioral therapy, but I thought this was the best therapy ever. D, dismiss the messenger. Anybody that's causing you tsaras, anybody that's creating havoc in your life, they're just a messenger, but they're not really anything. Dismiss the messenger. I was thinking about this today as I was writing this down, because we always have some tsaras with the government. Like, dismiss the messenger. B, believe it's for the best. And T, thank Hashem for the problem, because the problem ultimately leads us to the last thing that I want to talk about, which is prayer. Hanukkah, right, when we're lighting the candles, is a very special time for women. It's a time for us where usually we're running around, we're making Hanukkah parties, we're doing latkes, but we forget that during the candle lighting time is a very special time for us to daven. And so the month really, Kislev takes us into the next month. So that 8 days is a really important time to be davening for all the different things of the world and things that we need and sitting by the candle. So I figured I would just end reminding how important this month is for prayer, especially the end of it with the lighting of the candles. Thank you.
You're not supposed to work